Welcome to the Aaron Jack Show. Today we are on with Dill and Doing Good HQ, where you as the artist can also be the philanthropist. So thank you so much for joining another wonderful episode. We're going to have Dill request on here and be live. Dill is an amazing musician and multi-platinum independent artist, big into the NFTs. So we're going to get right into the NFTs and see what's going on. A little bit of something today. So thank you so much for joining here today, whenever now is, being alive. Thanks so much for joining.
Yo, how's it going? Happy to be here, man.
I'm so happy to be here with you from across the world.
Yeah, man, exciting. A lot going on in the NFT community. I've been going crazy. The last 10 days have been huge for me as an artist. So excited to get into it a little bit more.
Beautiful. So for you, what's the most exciting thing that's happening in NFTs right now?
Oh, well, that's easy for me. I might be a little bit biased, but I just set up the new music NFT radio of the future over on Twitter Spaces. And so I actually have over 50 live listeners right now, and it's just the beginning of the day. So in my opinion, the most exciting thing going on in music NFTs right now is music NFT radio. I have to say it's also the most exciting thing in the whole NFT world. Think about it like this. Bored Ape Yacht Club going from 0 to several billion in a year. That's down here. Dill's music NFT radio, all the way up here. So let's go. Now I'm just playing, having fun with it. I love NFTs, especially for music, and I'm super excited about the space as a whole. And Bored Ape Yacht Club, for example, is the best, example of what you can do, right? 0 to several billions in a year. And so I think the same thing is going to happen for music. And that's my goal. That's my mission, is how can we elevate the value of music to be higher than anything that was ever previously possible before? There's very few albums that are, billions of dollars in assets worth. But with NFTs, we can actually create those tools that allow an artist to have that kind of value around their work.
That's really beautiful. Now, I'm wondering, when we're talking about assets around the work, what do you really want to see for artists moving into the future, and how do you want to see that co-created?
Yeah, well, my main thing, and I'm going to focus a lot on music, right? I talk about NFTs all the time, but I love to focus on the music perspective because that is my specialty, right? That's my expertise. So for the music industry, what I want to see is a new way of looking at the world where the artist can keep their copyright ownership and keep their music and still create value within their community, right? Basically sell NFTs to their community that are art collectibles that give cool features and potentially utility to their collectors, but allow the artist to keep 100% ownership and deliver value to the NFTs through the price of the NFT, right? So I want to see artists keeping their copyright, selling NFTs as a completely new form of value, right? And that to me is where the future of NFTs for music lies. It's a new paradigm, right? It's no longer that you have to give up the ownership of your music to create value around that music. We can do it in other ways. So I've really been speaking about this every single day, all day on Twitter Spaces for well over a year now. So I have some pretty clear ideas about what I want to see, right? And so I want to see artists owning their work, getting the funding they need without a label, and taking control of their financial and creative freedom. And that's what's possible with NFTs, right? So there's a lot of different perspectives and opinions about what will be valuable for music NFTs. But I personally think we need to focus on the utility. Everybody says that artists make most of their money from touring, performing, merch, brand deals, and that the money in streaming and copyright monetization is a lot lower. So let's make an asset to monetize the biggest piece of the pie, not try to divide up the smaller piece of the pie even more than the music industry already does. That's the potential of NFTs, is to access this new untapped piece of the pie with an asset that represents that. So if your NFT gives you access to shows, touring, right, performances that you do, it gives you access to the artist directly, it gives you access to their new exclusive music, it gives you access to their merch, maybe you get, you know, a physical vinyl of the album. Well, now we've created an NFT that is monetizing the big untapped piece of the pie. I mean, imagine what that could be worth. That's the billion-dollar opportunity, whereas copyright sharing and copyright monetization is the million-dollar opportunity. So that's how I see it. The opportunity here is billions, in the billions, right? If Kanye West dropped a dope NFT collection, he could probably have billions of dollars of market cap because he's one of the biggest artists in the world. And there's several artists you could say that about, right? So long-winded explanation, but I do have a lot of ideas about this that have just been going through my head for well over a year. I've had a lot of time and energy to think about this.
You know, that's really awesome. I think really looking at these different artists who are blowing up in different ways and looking at the independent creators and what they can do. And I love how you're so engaged as well on social media, and you're really giving value to the everyday by creating this NFT music radio that you're making, and you're so dedicated to it. And I'm curious what you've learned from being so engaged on Twitter Spaces and talking with so many people, because you know there might be some music artists out there that haven't even started that journey. How would you suggest they start that journey?
Yeah, well, that's a great question, man. First of all, let me say I'm learning every day, just like every other artist in the NFT space. We're all learning together, we're experimenting, we're figuring out how all this stuff works. And being engaged with the community is the most growth that I've personally had. And I would say I'm learning exponentially more every day at an exponential speed. And I know it's hard to believe, but I have learned more in the last 10 days than I did in the full year of my NFT career. And maybe it's in specific ways, you know, maybe one day I'm learning this thing, the next day I'm learning this thing, but it all is coming together, right? It's like a rising tide raises all ships, and that applies when it comes to my knowledge in NFT space. So maybe one day I learn something that helps me sell some more NFTs. The next day I learn something that helps me grow on Twitter. The next day I learn something that helps me get more exposure for my music. But these all add together to create this big wave that is, you know, Dill NFTs and what I'm doing with music. So I'm really excited.
Have we gone silent here? Tell me in the comments right now, have we spinning wheel? Have we a spinning wheel? Or is this just me? So let me know if we are cut off right down there in the comments right now, because we're alive. We're alive today. Lost connection. Thank you so much. So we'll get right back on here with Dill. And I really appreciate you all sticking around and being here for this moment in time while we experience life together. And I think that's really what it is, to learn together. Yes, you can see me. I appreciate it. We're here, and we're here together. Hopefully, Dill will be back on here in a second. Here we go. Back on here and going live once again. Perfect. Thanks so much for sticking with us on this adventure of life. Perfect. So you're excited. You're excited, yeah, right here.
My bad. I don't know where I got cut off there. But yeah, Music NFT Radio has been the last 10 days running it 24/7. I have learned more in those 10 days than ever before. And what the overarching theme is that I'm more engaged with the community on Twitter than ever. Now I'm talking to people all day, every day. You know, people can tune in and I can actually hear them in the other room if they were to all yell in the space right now, you know? So it's really cool. I almost feel like I finally have a place to show off my music. And there's nothing else like this. I mean, look, if you're just hearing about this the first time, come on Twitter Spaces with us on Music NFT Radio. Listen in for a bit and understand what's going on. And you will see there's nothing else like this. We are literally putting on for artists. We had a upcoming artist named Frieza joined 2 days ago. He had 29 followers, and now he's over 200 followers on Twitter. He's getting listens on his music every day. People are checking out his work, and it's all because of Music NFT Radio. And there's countless examples of artists like this, right? So we're all growing together in Twitter, centered around the music. And for anyone who's not on Twitter Spaces, what's really unique about this is all of the other Twitter Spaces are a talk show style, where people are talking back and forth on the mic. Almost nobody is playing music, but almost really nobody is playing music in super high quality like me. I'm playing it studio quality through Twitter Spaces with studio radio quality microphones, right? So it's really cool and unique what we're doing. This has all happened from, like I said, 10 plus days of grinding the last 10 days, literally almost 24 hours a day. And it has been the most incredible growth I've had yet. I'm gaining like 400 or 500 followers every day on Twitter. My community is just exploding. I've made a bunch of NFT sales. Like, to me, this is the new radio. We've had almost 200 live listeners. We could definitely get thousands and thousands, and who knows what the limit is. Imagine if we had, 10,000 people listening live, and then we all went and liked a YouTube video and got it on YouTube trending, hit the top charts, and then millions of people are seeing that Music NFT Radio took a song to the top charts. So that is the long-term potential of this platform.
Wow. So what kind of message do you want to get out there with your music? Like, what have you been considering lately as you've been making your own music?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great question that a lot of people have. And I think a lot of people make assumptions. They say crypto rich, and they think what they want, right? They'll make assumptions about whatever. But if you know me and you know my music, and you don't judge a book by a cover, you listen to the music, then you understand my story, right? Crypto Rich is an inspirational album that tells people to pursue their financial freedom and their creative freedom. This album is designed to inspire people to get into crypto. Long term, it's going to bring millions and millions of people into crypto through music and NFTs. And I believe that is the financial future, right? So my goal is to inspire millions of people to find their financial freedom, right, through music. Not everybody wants to watch a YouTube video or come on a Twitter space or read a white paper, but everybody loves music, right? Or a lot of people love music, I'll say. And so I think a lot of people will learn through music and be inspired through music. So you can't listen to my album and become a crypto or an NFT expert, but you can listen to my album and feel some inspiration that'll let you to go out and do the research that you need to do, right? So that's the goal of my music. It always has been. I had nearly a million monthly listeners, right? And nobody understood what a crypto album was, right? So it wasn't like I opportunistically did this. I did this because I knew that crypto was going to be huge. I was really early, and I wanted to inspire people to get into crypto through my music. So really, I wanted to use my platform to tell people about the future of crypto. But I do think that people sometimes will judge a book by its cover. They see crypto rich, and they think whatever they want. They think this is just some music for crypto rich people or something, but that's not it at all. And as soon as you listen through the album, you realize all of that, right? So when you're listening to the album, you go, wow, this music is actually dope. And if I heard this music, I wouldn't even know it was crypto music. And wow, I love the music. And then you realize that this is going to bring millions of people to crypto who will hear the music, love it, and then they will find out that it's crypto music. Or they might hear a couple of crypto references, but they won't really understand the purpose of the music until they find the full project at a later date. So this is like the ultimate crypto music. I've said it on my show. I'll say it again. This is the best crypto music on the planet. There's a lot of people doing crypto music now. This is the OG. There's no comparison right now. It's 19 original songs all about crypto. It's amazing music. There's some big producers on there. And so I really think the competitive advantage that I have right now, beyond just being an OG and making the OG crypto album, is the music is amazing. And I truly believe that it's the best crypto music on the planet. It has a perfect blend of being crypto related and having crypto themes while still being really dope music.
That's really cool. So I'm wondering, for other musicians out there, what have you learned that can really help other musicians build um, their own spaces inside of this. What can other musicians do, and how have you seen working together in collaboration? As I know many musicians have showed up for you, how do you see that reciprocation within the community?
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge part of everything we do. It's one of those things where you have to come check it out and see what we're doing to understand. But all we do all day is sit on Twitter spaces together and talk and chat. And we're all working, doing our own thing, jumping in the conversation from time to time. Think of a conference call at work. I mean, maybe not, like sometimes it's super engaged, right? But then other times maybe it's the end of the call and everybody's just kind of working, sitting there. You know how it is, right? We're on that entrepreneur lifestyle, so we've all been there. So it's kind of like that, Twitter Spaces, and there's new people coming in all day to vibe, and that's been the vibe for months. And we all grow and work together, and out of that comes musical collabs and art collabs and everything, as you'd assume. Just like when you're making friends in real life, this is the new way to make internet friends. So collabs are, of course, a big part of it. But I want to just like point to the fact that we're just there together all day, because I think that means a lot. And of course, collabs are amazing with music and stuff. But think of the fact that instead of all of us just trying to push out our one Instagram post, we're all on stage together, gaining followers together, getting exposure for our music together, talking together, working together. So it's a completely new vibe. You got to come on Twitter Spaces, or you can check on Clubhouse and see what it's really about. And so then, now that you have that kind of preamble about what Twitter Spaces is and what's going on there, I need to reiterate how revolutionary my music space is, because we are the only one that, instead of talking all the time, we have realized that people just want to hear dope music and chill. So we have made the music the focus, and now everybody's just sitting there growing together while their music is playing. So people are coming in to play their music and stuff, but no longer are we just talking back and forth endlessly. We're all
Right.
just vibing, listening to music, because what I realize is everybody's there to sit on stage and grow together, right? That's kind of what it's about. So if we can play our music and grow together while getting exposure and chilling, like, that's even better than having to think of the next witty comment that'll get you a few followers, or whatever, or just thinking about responding to everybody's projects and saying, hey, great project, so you can collab. It's like, look, if you like the music, you can get in touch with that artist. But let's focus on the music instead of focusing on just talking about our music.
Right. That's a really important point. Is the playing of the music, that it's not just the talking about it. I mean, now we're here to talk, like this is our conversation time, but when we're on there all day, that conversation, sometimes we need to just listen to music and be
Mm-hmm.
there and vibe with it, and
Yeah.
have it maybe on in the background. So what have you learned from playing music, that you think, because I know I've been a part of a lot of different spaces on Clubhouse that play music 24/7, and I was part of some bands and stuff on Clubhouse and large where improvisational musician collabs across the world. So I'm wondering, when it comes to Twitter Spaces, what do you find that musicians can push that medium to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. It's something new. You have to get the right setup. It took me a little while to get my whole thing set up to how it is now, but now I have the great setup there that's allowing me to keep pushing this farther and all that stuff. So that's one really exciting part about it, is I've improved the setup. The audio quality is fire. I think that really this is the new interactive radio. I think it works very well. We need more people to understand the concept. A big wave for us is going to be when the leaders in the NFT community, like big accounts, like let's say Bored Ape Yacht Club account or the Doodles account, when they realize that the new way to grow their account while chilling is to bring their big account to the music NFT radio, right? I think what we really need is more exposure for music NFTs. And so I think the collab of the future the radio collab is going to be a big account. Like, let's say the Bored Ape Yacht Club was on stage with, me, Dill, and Fifi Wrong, one of our other artists. That would bring thousands of people into the room who are then hearing the music and chilling and vibing. And also, it'll bring new people in the room who are going to follow Bored Ape Yacht Club or Doodles or whatever the account is, right? So I think this is going to be basically a whole industry of live radio stations where you're constantly trying to bring in, a big influencer, or a big account, or a big artist, right? The other fun stuff that I've seen is we've shouted out artists. So like Fifi Wrong, she's a pretty big artist in Web3. We actually did a now playing Fifi Wrong tweet and then shouted her out. And that's the first time she came in the room. So as we get bigger and bigger, imagine we have, 1,000 live listeners and we shout out a medium-sized artist and say, hey, come, we want to play your music. And they've got 1,000 people liking their video, streaming, DMing them. They might not understand Web3 and NFTs, but they can instantly understand 1,000 people to listen to their new song, right? And imagine when that number is 10,000 or even more, 100,000. Who knows how big this can scale, right? But if you had 10,000 or 100,000 live listeners, you better believe you could get, like Snoop Dogg in there or something. And then that would be just absolutely huge. So I think this is the new interactive radio of the future. And the way we continue to grow it is shouting out big artists, bringing them on, all that stuff. And that's what we're doing at Music NFT Radio. We're pioneering this stuff. There's really nobody doing it just like us. And the other big differentiating factor about the show is we are focused on driving streams for the artists. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. We're going to help the artists get their music out there for real, not just sell NFTs. We want to promote the artist long term. So if you want to buy a music NFT, that's great. But that's even more reason for you to go like, comment, support, subscribe, run up their streams, right? When you get the NFT, that's the beginning of your relationship supporting the artist, right? Then you want to stream their stuff. You want to support their new YouTube video, right? Because when you do that, long term, it's going to increase the value of your NFT through discovery and exposure for that artist, right? So I have very clear ideas about this. I have very clear language that I say every time, like, that is it right there. We need to increase discovery and exposure for the artists by using the Web3 community to make those algorithms work for us, right? Spotify will work for us. YouTube will work for us. We have to work the algorithm and start sending people to the right places. And that's the real difference about Music NFT Radio. We're focused on all of that.
This is really interesting, the idea of discovery and exposure for the musician,
Yeah.
and how discovery and exposure works in a very digital sort of way, that we're going beyond, playing, that we're taking a different tact maybe than playing on the streets, or we're playing in like a concert hall. We're playing in a concert in a club at night, whatever it is. Like there's many different places that music is played, but we're looking at kind of another venue for music to be played, another sort of underground radio that's happening, and how discovery, exposure, communication, shared audience works. And I'm very curious about this shared audience, and what do you see happening in the future as we see more and more musicians transition into the Web3 space?
Yeah, I mean, I really like that comparison. What I've set up is basically like a town hall for music, okay? It's like, look, come hang out at the town hall or the town square, play your music, right? I'm the guy that's been there all day, every day, and I got a big crowd around me. But if you want to set up shop over there and play some music, you come hang out and we're going to play your stuff on the show, right? But also the big core principle of this show is the more you listen and hang out and be on the show, engaged and growing with us, right? You get benefit just from being there, even if your music isn't playing, because your account's going to grow. But the more you're there, the more we play your music. So this is the only radio show where you can hang out and actually get more spins on your music the longer you're there. And then we'll support you, So we've had artists come on and we've been helping them grow and get music plays. So it's the only radio station where you're going to get your music played more just by being a listener, right? So that's kind of what I set up. It's that town hall feel for the digital world, or that town square where people can come hang out. You'll get a chance to play your music and hang around. But yeah, I'm there all the time. The other thing that's huge is I've made it really, really easy. When you come to my space, you don't need an instrument, you don't need a setup. You're free to play music yourself if you want, but I am pulling up all the music for the artists and playing it through a really professional radio style setup into Twitter Spaces. So when any artist comes in, they get to just come vibe with us, and then I play their stuff in studio quality. They don't have to have any special setup.
Right. It's really interesting, like where it is like streaming right into the platform, that with this new social audio gives us the opportunity to stream directly to people, that we've gained this ability with the new with all this new social audio to directly talk to the end listener, that we in fact have control over it, and that we can work together to build each other's work up, and whether that's to share followers, to share listeners, to share fans, that we grow, that the idea is growing together in that way. And I'm curious, what do you see happening in the growing together mentality that kind of connects this Web 2 to Web 3 idea?
Yeah, I mean, it's tying everything together, right? Because we've all been,
I think you moved it.
it's
Yeah,
all
there you go.
growing,
Mhm.
it's all tying it all together, right? We're growing together. We've been saying that basically you don't need the label anymore. You can distribute yourself. You can make your own music videos. You don't need $100,000 budget anymore. All these things are true. But I think that these Twitter spaces are the manifestation of that truth, because now we can just hang out together, grow together, get exposure for each other, and we don't have to be under the same label. We don't have to be all under this one deal under a publisher to grow together. We can all be independently doing our stuff and grow together. We can collect each other's stuff too, right? Like if I like a few artists in the room, I collect their work, which I do. Go look in my Twitter space right now. I'm holding NFTs from a bunch of those artists that hang out there every day, because that's how we do it, right? So now, instead of worrying about supporting whoever my label decided is the new artist, right? Because that's how it works in the traditional world. The label says, hey, here's the new artist, you're doing a feature with them, and that's kind of what you have to do. Now, I'm not saying that new artist is going to be trash. Maybe the label delivers you good new artists, so don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that, right? What I am trying to say is that under this new system, I have full control over what I want to do. I can support an artist who's in the room because I like them. I can choose not to support an artist if I don't want to for whatever reason. And then when I do want to support an artist, it goes all directly to that artist instead of through my label, right? And so it's all just natural and organic. And we can support each other without buying each other's stuff and spending money. But what is happening is that, let's say I buy something from an artist and then they buy something from me. Now we are incentivized to support each other without being under some kind of binding contract agreement that's made by my label to only benefit them. Now we are under a social agreement with each other that we want to see each other win, and it's incentivized financially with the NFT, right? We entered into a social agreement to see each other win by buying each other's NFT. We would not have spent that money on each other's NFTs if we didn't want to enter in that social agreement. It becomes a financial agreement as that NFT grows and as the value increases. So in that way, you enter into a social agreement that is financially incentivized through NFT. And this is what is game changing. And this is what people don't understand about how NFT works. They just think it's a picture or artwork on the blockchain. Like, no, most NFTs are actually a social agreement that you are entering, financially incentivized with the NFT to see that artist win. And that's why people are buying NFTs. And I think we know that in the space, but we have to be able to explain it and put language to it so that other people can understand better without having to sit here all day, every day like we do.
This is really fascinating, the idea of paying it forward. and to see an artist win and to say that this is something that I believe in, this is someone that I believe in, to say that we're entering a social agreement together through, whether it's you playing their music, someone reposting, featuring another artist, featuring another music, whatever it is, that feature, the buying, that these are all social contracts to help each other out, that it's paying it forward and paying it up in a way of seeing who you want to win, see and learning from each other. Maybe you could give us a little bit more depth on how you see these social agreements and what you see happening with the NFTs, because it's a new way to engage with each other and help each other when you're not in the same physical space.
Yeah, man, definitely. I mean, that's exactly what it's all about. It's like we can now engage and support each other through the NFT, you know? So, and we're constantly improving. And even what we're doing right here is like we're supporting each other. We're working together. We're telling my story and you're asking engaging questions for like super meta, but we're growing right now, right? In the metaverse. What do you know? Right? So, I mean, I'm doing metaverse shows and stuff like that too, which actually gives a space to some of this. So, Twitter Spaces is kind of like your very basic metaverse, just audio chat. Now, the actual metaverse, Decentraland or Crypto Voxels, adds a space to that in the digital world with a video game type of feel, right? So, it's moving in the right direction, right? But I have to say, all of this stuff is like basic forms of a metaverse. You know, look at this. I just got a new background here. You're looking at the Philadelphia skyline. And now I'm like, look, this is where I'm going to be taking all of my Twitter space, or I mean, my Instagram lives, because look at this background. We're chilling now, right? But it's cool that I can be here in Philly supporting hundreds and thousands of artists worldwide, not knowing any of them. I am supporting. I mean, look, it's maybe some people would call this sad, but it's just the nature of reality right now is I'm supporting a bunch of artists who know me from the internet around the world instead of like all the people locally. But the thing is, there's no way, like, yeah, I still support local artists. I go to shows, you know, I help my friends, I go to studios, all this stuff. But there's no way for me to be financially incentivized to support an artist unless they have NFTs or unless they want to sign to my label. But guess what? I don't sign to my label. I don't do that. I'm not working that way anymore. We're doing everything through NFTs, right? NFT deals. My label is going to have a bunch of NFTs, and then we're going to support those artists. And a bunch of artists are going to have my NFTs, and we're going to support them. But I'm not here to take the ownership from an artist and, you know, take their work and then, you know, be paying my grandkids off a song that you made in your garage like the record label is doing to me, right? That's not what I want to do because I want a new way forward.
Well, this is really interesting, a new way forward. And what that is between the digital and physical spaces that we live in, because we all, live in physical spaces as well as the digital spaces now, just by nature of watching this video whenever now is, we're living in a digital space and we're also living in a physical space at the same time. How do you see that building forward with musicians as they push into these new realms?
Yeah, a couple things. So, yeah, man, I love it. I feel like after over a year of doing this, I have an answer for all the questions that come up. This is one of the most common questions. So everybody wonders, you know, what is the metaverse? I don't know about the metaverse, and why would I ever want to go to a metaverse concert? Because I love going to real world concerts, you know? I like going to a concert and, you know, smoking some weed, you know, roll up a blunt, have a beer, you know, go party with your friends, you know, your feet hurt at the end and you're covered in dirt. Yeah, we all love that, right? I mean, of course we do. That's what we're here for. That's what music is about. The metaverse is not here to replace that. The metaverse is here to be a new way to engage with your favorite artists, right? When your artist got on Instagram, that didn't replace the show. It improved the quality of the marketing. It improved the connection to that show. And now you want to go to the show even more because you see 10 versions of it on Instagram instead of having to wait until the artist happens to be on, let's say, TV. Or before that, all you could do is hear the artist on the radio and say, you know what, I'm going to go check out the concert. So think of how the industry has evolved, the metaverse is the next evolution of that, where now you can hang out with your artist in a video game. And so when they come to your city, you're going to be even more excited to go to their show because you were hanging out with them in the metaverse, right? So all the people that hang out with Dill in the metaverse, now they're even more excited to come to my show and join my community and join my radio show because they saw my little character running around with all orange skin and crypto voxels. I've got all orange skin like my website, and I've got a crown. So, and I look like a little stick man, and that's just how you look in the game. But it's not about the graphics, it's about the connections, the networking, the music, the art, right? So people need to kind of reconsider what the metaverse is and look at what made Minecraft really successful. Look at why Roblox is successful. So when people don't understand the metaverse, they probably just need to learn a little bit more about the tech and learn a little bit more about something like Minecraft or Roblox, right? Because look, this is new stuff, right? Like I'm still a young guy. I'm 27, right? But when I think about the Roblox and Minecraft, that's under my generation. I was older than Roblox and Minecraft, but as an entrepreneur, I always stay in tune with what the kids are doing. I call my little sister and I say, why is everybody liking Roblox? And I find out that kids are making like a virtual world and a store and a marketplace. They're making worlds for each other and then selling it to each other with an in-game currency. And then I go, oh, wow. That's kind of like what I used to do on RuneScape, but maybe even more advanced, right? Because now they're making their own games for each other. I was just playing along with RuneScape and Jagex's game. They're making their own games for each other, and they're making their own economy. So when these kids grow up, they are going to understand how to make your own economy with crypto and NFTs a lot better than all of us adults who grew up with, hey, here's the rules, play by the rules, and you'll make, success, right? Here's the rules, follow the rules to succeed. That's the old way. I think the new way is like, hey, make your own way and find your own success, right? If we have to just put it in words that the average, human can understand, I would say the old way is like, hey, here's the rules, follow along to win. And the new way is like, hey, if you can make the best rules for the best game, you are going to win big with the people that want to play along.
Wow, I think that's really something that you've said right there, that we're going from kind of like a top-down rule-making mentality to a bottom-up rule-making mentality where we can follow along anyone's rules that we want to play with and say like, oh, this is someone's rules that I want to support the way they make the rules. This is how I want to make the rules. This is how our rules fit together in this world, in the physical and the digital and the playing in between. And I find that interesting. Now,
Yeah.
you're talking about Roblox right here. You're talking about Minecraft and, building their own worlds. How do you see that generation transitioning into the crypto world as we move into the next few years?
Yeah, it's a great question. I love this. We're like deep on theory about this stuff. But I think honestly, Minecraft and Roblox are the perfect comparison because whether you realize it or not, those are very similar to what Ethereum is. Okay, so here's what Minecraft was. They gave you a very basic looking world with a set of rules, items, features. There's pretty limited compared to a lot of video games, right? Actually, Minecraft has a more limited like set of items and features when you really think about it. But that simplicity basically said, hey, here's a bunch of rules and environment that you can build in. Do whatever you want within that environment, within those rules, and build whatever you want. That's it. Okay? Roblox is a step up from that, where they said, here's rules and an environment, and we're going to give you some other tools that will help you to make your design even easier, I believe, and will improve the graphics and stuff like that. That's what Roblox did, almost like a V2 of what Minecraft did. So Ethereum, like, let's just talk about what Ethereum is. Ethereum is a blockchain environment with a set of rules that you can follow. And as long as you follow the rules of Ethereum and build within that environment, you can build whatever you want. So whether or not you realize it, the Ethereum blockchain is very similar to the kind of platform that some of these video games have created. It's just a different set of rules and a different environment.
I think that's really interesting, the comparison that you're making here when we talk about these video games and then we talk about cryptocurrency and kind of the similarities and how we're exchanging digital goods and where we're going with the exchange of digital goods and how do we play into that as an artist, as a creative, as a musician, as someone making and giving value, cultural value into the world and where that plays into people's lives. And I'm very curious in terms of where that transition is and how do we see that music coming to life.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to me, a big part of it is that all of my NFT collectors are going to be the first ones who get free tickets to my shows. They're going to be the first ones who get access to my pre-sale for the new tour. They're going to be the first ones who get merch arriving at their door, hot, fresh, new, crypto rich, merch, whatever I'm doing. That goes to the collectors first, right? So I'm connecting the NFTs to everything I do in real life. So I think the way that music is going to manifest itself with NFTs and into the physical world is that when you support an artist with NFTs in this space and you see them in the metaverse, all that, you're going to be going to their real world show. You're going to be getting their merchandise. You're going to be connected to them. You're going to be able to text them and call them, right? Like I have VIP collectors. Right now, there's about 50 to 100 of them. Most of them have my phone number, or they can reach me really easily on Twitter DMs, right? But a lot of them have my phone number, and I only have 200 VIPs available right now. And when you think about it, like 200 people that want to support you, it's not unmanageable amount. It's not that many. Like most of my collectors don't call me all the time. Like plenty of people hold my VIP and they haven't called me in months, but they're still my friend and supporter, right? Other times, it's a busy week. They give me a couple calls. But I just want to say, basically, I can have 200 people's phone numbers who are my supporters. Like, they're not going to drive me crazy, I don't think, with a number like that. And I have a system set up to automate it all. So either way you look at it, the collectors can come book my calendar and stuff like that. It's all planned out. It's all scheduled. I can put my free time in there the time I need. So it's like, look, you want to book a call with me now? Well, it's pretty easy because we only have 50 to 100 collectors plus like almost 1,000 other collectors. But when you scale up, it might be like, hey, we're super busy this week. Everybody's trying to drop right now and we have 200 collectors. So you're going to have to book a call 2 days out. But like maybe next week we're more open and you can book a call same day, so it's just about access to me. I'm only a person. I'm not superhuman. I'll certainly build out a team. Perhaps in a year or two, we have an assistant team that's helping me deal with some calls and get the important stuff to the top. But this is my business. I want to provide value through my platform. And now we have NFT radio as just another way that you can come 24/7 to get value, even for free, right? You can join totally for free and get value by just being there and growing with us. But if you buy an NFT, you're going to get more spins for your music. We're going to support you more. We're going to let you call in for a minute and say, hey, it's John calling in from New Jersey. I have a new NFT collection. Go check out my 101 art on OpenSea. Thanks, guys. Love the music, right? Like you can call in with that stuff. So there's so much value on this show. And that's just another small utility I provide for collectors. Well, what people don't understand is with a music NFT and any NFT, collectors buy for all different reasons, right? I might have one guy who bought because he can't wait to come to my show. I have another guy who bought because he can't wait to just have me retweet his tweet. It's like completely different ends of the spectrum. Other people, I have someone bought because they're a brand and a business and they want to hold my NFT for the long term because they know I'm going to be giving them shout outs over the long term. And they haven't talked to me in 3 months. But that's fine because they're doing fine. I'm doing fine. I'm building my community. They might reach out to me in 6 months and say, hey, we have something big. And I'll say, awesome. My followers have doubled in the last 6 months. So we're going to really get you exposure. Right. So that's kind of what we're doing. Like, we're building on this one mission. And I encourage everyone to go check out Music NFT Radio if you haven't right now. This is going to be the new thing, because you can just say any time of the day, go check out Music NFT Radio. It's not like, hey, put this in your calendar tomorrow at 3 p.m., bro. It's like, yo, it's 2 a.m. and you just got home from the bar. Check out Music NFT Radio. You know, it's 8 a.m. and you're just waking up. You go into Music NFT Radio. You know you're gonna hear Nifty Sax and Fifi Wrong with their harmony meditation that we did this morning. We do different stuff. There's no genre. There's no styles. If it's 7 a.m., we might be playing a meditation, kind of chill, ambient vibe. You know, if it's 7 a.m., we might be playing the hottest new banger that you hear in the club, right? So it's like we are vibing at all times of day. But I am seeing, you know, here on day 10, that like throughout the day we're changing the vibe a little more. But that's good, right? So anyway, it's in Eastern Standard Time. If you're in Europe, you know, you just got to get on our time zone, or else, you know. No, but anyway, we're having fun with Music NFT Radio. It's really good vibes. I encourage everyone to get on. Come share your music. Come say what's up. Come grow with us. You know, in a way, I know maybe I talk about this too much, but we are just automating growth for the NFT community and the people that are with us. You know, it is about the music. It's about supporting each other. But I have to say, like, another thing that's happening is we're just automating follower growth on Twitter for everyone that's listening, because so many people come in and out all day and they're looking around the room and checking out who's there on stage.
Well, I think this is really interesting, this idea of, you know, building together. We're talking about building together. We're talking about these social contracts with the cryptocurrencies. We're talking about building culture. We're talking about building these underground radio stations that can connect people from across the world. What do you really want to see in the music world as we move into the future?
I want to see more artist ownership. That's it. I want to see labels not taking all of the artist ownership and taking their money forever. I want to see more artist ownership. You know, I want to see more deals that say, hey, after the label makes some money, the artist owns it, which is what the newer deals look like. But that's only the last couple of years. But there is no reason that these labels can't make a deal that's better for the artist. You know, yeah, is it going to hurt their bottom line somewhat long term? It is, but everything is scaling, a matter of scaling, right? And so what worked in the 1950s when you had, you know, 100x less the number of artists, it was 100x more expensive to make music, blah, 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 right? Like, we can go through all the reasons why the business model has changed. But nowadays, you don't need to make all your money off a couple artists that have big hits and bleeding them out forever. The labels could look to bring a lot more artists that are making a lot more music, and they're taking less from each artist and each music. But the amount of music we can consume and the amount of music that can be made at a lower cost is now exponentially different than it was in the 80s and 90s. But labels are out here still trying to swing those 80s and 90s deals that assume that it's going to cost you $50K to record an album, when I've heard someone record an album that costs $50 that sounds better than some shit you'd hear out of the studio before. That is possible. So that's what's changed about the game. The business model is different now. The labels are in that dinosaur mode. But anyway, they're in the dinosaur mode because they want to. You got to understand that. They want to take all the money from the artists. That is their business goal.
So as we talk about the goals and all of this, as a musician, you know, creating music in this world, what kind of message do you want to get out there with your own music?
Yeah. I mean, the one I just said, right? Ownership, artist ownership, the importance of that. But in many ways, that's not even maybe my mission anymore, because people like Russ and Nipsey Hussle and, you know, Jay-Z, they've been saying this for a long time. And that's where I probably form some of my opinions. But my message is about crypto and Web3 and NFTs. My message is that crypto is the future of financial freedom and creative freedom with NFTs. And all people, not just artists, all people should be paying attention to crypto and NFTs and Web3. That's it. That is the message of Crypto Rich. That is my message and my mission in its simplest form is pay attention to crypto. Become inspired to look into crypto and do your own research. There's nobody who's going to force you or teach you. And similarly, you can't force or teach anyone. So that's why I used my talent and energy and heart and soul to do what I do best and make music. And hopefully that will get the message across to at least some people. I'm not saying that, Gabby Dutch, who just joined the room, or Yeah Maya, who just joined the room, is going to go buy, crypto today because they heard Crypto Rich album. But I am saying that maybe they will hear the Crypto Rich album and eventually they will decide to look into music and they will say that the Crypto Rich album was one of the, planting the seeds of what caused them to get into crypto, right? And if you're listening now and you're hearing Crypto Rich now, you're still early. So you buy Ethereum today, and then maybe when Ethereum's at $10,000 or $20,000, you'll be able to look back and say, wow, I actually was early. Even though it felt like Ethereum was so expensive, I actually was early. And I'm so glad that I found out about Dill and Crypto Rich because it gave me the energy to do this. And then I went out and bought Ethereum. And as soon as it went up and I made $10, 10 US dollars, I was already playing Crypto Rich and throwing a party. And then the next day I was down $50, but it was all worth it. I'm just messing around. But that's how it is in crypto. It's up and down, but we're in for the long term. And I want to be your soundtrack to the crypto success. I'm not saying every time you make some money, you're going to play Crypto Rich, but maybe some of the times.
That's a really interesting thing, is this idea of the excitement of the ups and the downs, the buying here, selling there, the kind of market of it all. And what you're saying is that there's in fact a soundtrack to the highs and lows of this lifestyle that you see happening on a day to day, where people are interacting and buying and selling in these markets, and that there's a
Yes.
culture growing here.
Oh,
What
yes.
aspects do you see of this culture that's growing, and what value systems do you think that you want to inspire within that
Yeah.
in culture?
Well, the answer is yes. I do think there's a soundtrack to these highs and lows of crypto. It's called Crypto Rich Deluxe, the album. And so that's why I made it. And so then I said, there's really a soundtrack to this whole culture and community. That's why I made Music NFT Radio. It's playing live right now in the other room to like 50 plus listeners last time I checked. Pinned right at the top, it says, I'm live on Instagram for a live interview. I'm 100% sure that some of these people who came into this room just now came because they saw it on Music NFT Radio and came to check it out. They probably had to tune out of radio for a second to tune into this. But do you see what's happening? It's so unprecedented. Now there is an advertisement for this show, and it serves the purpose of everyone knowing, okay, Dill's not here to be in the mix playing our music right now. He's obviously on this Instagram live, and I can go look at him. And if I didn't believe that, it was the real guy, Dill, here from his little icon, well, I can just click over in 2 clicks and see that he's there sitting in the other room, right? And he's going to turn his camera back and point it at his bong and his studio setup where Music NFT Radio is playing right now. Like, this is so revolutionary. Look, I'm taking you into Music NFT Radio studio, right? We're live in the mix. Watch this. So look, see this? This is what it looks like. See, doing an NFT interview on Instagram Live. And right now we have 35 listeners. So it's unique, it like what's happening here is unique. I haven't been on there in an hour now and there's 35 listeners, and whenever I go on and we do a giveaway or we get a new superstar who joins the room, of course, we get that growth, right? But what's so unique too is for anyone who doesn't understand Twitter Spaces, like usually you start at 0 every time. Aaron, I think you probably understand a bit. Like you start at 0 every time. Now, when I want to bring someone on the show, they call in and there's already 50 people, right? When I want to bring one of my VIP collectors on to talk about their project, I just say, hey, tune in. There's already 50 people. Everybody is used to tuning in with 0 and hanging out for 2 or 3 hours before they have a lot of people. But now I can say, hey, we got the people. They're live. They're listening. And they've been listening to music all day. So they're not sick of hearing everybody shill their project every 4 seconds. They might actually be excited to hear about your work. So like this is one of the features of my NFT now. Like nobody, I can't reiterate it enough. Nobody else does this or has this. Like there's people that are much bigger than me that would get 500 people in a room, sure. But for an upcoming independent artist, I've created something amazing. And now all of my collectors, like any of my VIP collectors could go on there right now and tell 35 people about their project. Like that is value. That is cool. So I just want to reiterate that, you know, people who don't understand Twitter Spaces, we got to kind of put some language to it and drive it home for them so they can understand what I did.
You know, it's interesting, like the idea of the underground pirate radio, because that's really what we're talking about here is the underground pirate radio, harkening back to some older days. But now we have the ability for people to purchase the digital goods, the goods over the airwaves and own it within seconds, that there's no physical goods going back and forth necessarily.
Yeah, and
And
also it's not quite, the thing is, number one is this: we have permission from all the artists that are playing there, and it's their music, right? So we're actually playing it with their approval, first of all. Second of all is this: we're focused on driving those streams and listens and YouTube plays. So not only does the artist win when they do sell an NFT on the show, which we're having plenty of sales now, it's amazing. But we are focused on helping them grow on Spotify, YouTube, and all that too. So just from their music playing on the show, artists are now getting more streams than they were before the show, and more people are hearing it live, right? So it's not just like, oh, 35 people heard it live. Great. It's like 35 people heard it live, but then 5 or 10 of those people are going back to stream it. So the artists that come every day are getting thousands of people, and some of them are going to stream it. We have a playlist set up. We add the artists. We tell everyone to go stream it. And the cool thing is, I know a lot about Spotify, a whole lot. And I know the numbers and how they work. And we are going to be one of the highest delivering playlists for most of these artists. So it's only day 10. So imagine day 30, day 60, a few months down the line when artists look at their analytics and they find out that music NFT radio is pushing more streams than something that they paid for, right? Maybe they bought my NFT for $200. Now it's worth, a couple months later, it's worth $1,000, and they have more streams coming in because they bought that NFT than something that they paid $1,000 for, right? That's the vision. And we are driving real numbers for artists. And there's no other Twitter Spaces that is focused on helping the artists get streams. And that's what makes the algorithm work. That's what gets that long-term discovery. So it is kind of similar to that pirate radio vibe, but I really think it's a lot about the energy, the fact that we're playing Web3 music, like you said, the fact that there are ways to support and buy, but also just the simple fact that we're focused on the vibes of the music. We play the music itself all the time, and that's really what's different. We were bringing a totally different energy to this space, and it's been amazing for everyone involved. And there's people buying, there's people selling, all that stuff. But at the same time, there's just so many ways to support a music artist. And my personal goal and mission is to educate everyone on this information. Because people don't understand. People come to a music NFT space and they go, I don't have any Ethereum. I'm out. And that's why I say, stop right there. You don't need Ethereum. If you want to buy a music NFT, great. Thank you. That's the best way to support me as an artist. But please add my stuff on Spotify, like my YouTube video, leave a comment. I've worked so hard on my music videos and they don't get that many views. They don't get that many comments. They don't get that many likes. Do you know how much it means to me to see a comment or two every day just supporting me and telling me to keep doing what I'm doing? They're like, you look at my Instagram and you think like, oh, this guy's got it, whatever, he doesn't need my comment. Like, it's not true. I get a couple comments on YouTube a week, and like every single one means a lot to me. And if you look at my profile and look at my numbers, think of how many other artists there are that are smaller than me that probably think that even more. So don't just look at an artist with 100K followers and 1 million monthly listeners and think that they have it all going on and they get plenty of comments and streams. I can't get any, like my new song has just over 1,000 streams in like a week or two, which is great. I'm happy about that. You know, it's nice. I'm grateful. But that's nothing. I have 150 million streams. You'd think that my new song could get, 100,000 or 1 million, but it's not like that at all. So that's just a reiteration of what the music industry is like and how impactful it is for these artists to be getting some exposure.
It's a really interesting thing is like, we're taking out the label and we're looking at like what it is to build one's own independent. But we're wrapping up here, what it is to be an independent artist in this day and age and different ideas of how we go back and create and help each other. But we're just wrapping up here. And so first, why don't you tell everybody where to find you across all of your channels? That's number one.
Go to itslit.org where you will find all of my stuff. You can also check out my Instagram, my Twitter, Famous Dill. Now I have a new recommendation, which is brand new, is tune into Music NFT Radio. Find everything from there. Just open up your Twitter account, come to my profile, click my profile picture, you'll be tuned in. But yeah, check me out on Instagram. Check out my NFT website, link in bio. That's the most important one. Check out my link in bio, please. Before you ask any questions about NFTs, before you even Google anything, look at my link in bio. It will explain a lot about music NFTs for you. Look through the whole website, scroll down. Don't just look at the video at the top. Like, look through my entire website. You will learn a lot about what a music NFT is and what it does. Tune in on Twitter with me every day. Follow me. And yeah, you can always hit me up through DMs or whatever.
Cool. And why don't you leave us with just some words from your heart that you think that the world needs to hear right now? The whole world, besides your work, just what the world needs to hear right now from deep from your heart.
Yeah, support each other with love and respect. Treat people equally, give different people opportunities and try to give people opportunities when you can. Sometimes giving out value first and trying to be helpful is the best way to gain value yourself. So start with that, see what you can do for others and just get involved. And the other thing that I have to say is when people are getting you into Web3 and music NFTs, listen to what they're saying. I see so many people that they'll ask, they'll ask some questions, but instead of just following the answer and following the instructions and doing the research they need to do, they just come up with a new question. And it's like, don't let anything hold you back. Don't overanalyze, just do. Don't ask me a million questions about OpenSea. Log on to OpenSea and check out the website. And then tell me, hey, I've already checked out OpenSea. I've checked out my profile. I've connected my wallet, and I'm trying to figure out how to mint. That's such a respectable question compared to like, I don't really get it. How do you mint on OpenSea, right? Like, so the one thing when it comes to NFT and Web3, there's way more important things in the world. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to this stuff, please get involved. Let people try to help you. Crypto, NFTs, Web3, this is the future of financial freedom and creative freedom. So get involved now. You are still early, I promise.
Cool. Thanks so much for joining.
Yeah.
And I'll do a little wrap up. Thanks
so
much.
Thanks, Aaron.
Perfect. You just click the X button. I'm going to be right here. All right, I'm here. I'm Aaron Jack, and I was here with Dill. And I'm here all day. I'm right here with you just for the moment in time. So thank you so much for watching all of this all of this information, to understand Web3 with Dill, and interactive radio, where we are with social audio, and ideas to take your music onto the next level, build and grow with each other, support each other, build new rules, as we were talking about, that expand and grow each other's reach, that help each other grow, that you connect the people who follow you to the other artists that you love, that they love. How do we talk about this in the new age? I think that this is something so important, is how do we support the cultures and the creation of culture that we love and we know and that we want to grow, whether it's in Web 2, Web 3, how do we build each other up? And so I just want to say thank you so much for joining today. We've covered so much. And I'm Aaron Jack. Thank you to Doing Good HQ, where it allows you as the artist, the creator, the musician, to be also a philanthropist and to connect with other collaborators as you build these smart contracts. So thank you so much to the philanthropists, you, the artists, the creators, the purchasers of the NFT that support the artists, the creators out there. I'm Aaron Jack with Aaron Jack Show, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much.